Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be able to come to you and teach another lesson. Today, we're going to talk about Jesus. So, the first thing I wanted to do is just share with you a couple of pictures, and I'll do my very best to do that here. But listen to this, okay? Jesus told his disciples not to worry about what they eat or what they drink, and instead, he asked them to think about the birds and the flowers. He meant that because God takes such good care of the birds and the flowers, he would take care of his children even more. Let's think about all of the different things that God has created. I have this book here. It's my son's book of all the different animals. And you can just open it up and look at all of the different animals, even this really strange bird. God created each and every one of them, even the creepy crawlies, the fish. He created the world. You can see that big map behind me. And he wants us to know he takes care of the world. He takes care of the animals. He will take care of us too. So let's think about, let's see, I'll go. Let's look at, it turned out to a peacock, right? So how does this bird get its food? Does it have a bowl and a human go in and pour the food and the water in there? Or does it scavenge, just look around on the earth to try and find its own food? How do plants get food? Where do animals go for shelter? Where does a peacock go for shelter? How do insects get food? You know, God is so incredible. He cares for the world's smallest insect to the biggest animal. He cares for you and he cares for me. We're going to spend a lot of time learning about that today. But first, I want to share with you our memory verse. Our memory verse this week comes from John chapter 17, verse 3. Now this is eternal life, that you know the one and only true God, Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. I kind of messed up a little bit there, and that's okay. I'll read it again. Now this is eternal life, that you know the only true God and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. We'll talk a little bit more about Jesus later, but I have a question for you. What is your favorite part of going exploring? If you know me, you know that I love to go exploring. I love to go hiking with my family. I even wore today my favorite park. Golden Gate Canyon State Park is my favorite park to go exploring. There's tons of different trails you can go hiking on. You can go fishing there. You can go camping there. Tons of different things. Who else likes to hike? Raise your hands. I love being outside in God's beautiful creation. I love looking at the birds, looking at the sky. There's nothing like walking on a hiking trail and looking up and seeing that crisp blue sky. It's amazing. Whenever I go hiking, I always bring my backpack. I've brought a backpack or two to you guys before, but I just pulled this backpack here. And in it, I have maps. I have compasses so that I don't get lost. How many of you have ever looked at a map or a compass? Yeah, lots of times when you go hiking, they have little pamphlets of the maps. It's so important to be prepared. So when I talk about getting lost, I think about not knowing my way back to my car or getting lost for my family in the grocery store. Today, I think it's important that we talk about a different kind of being lost. You can be lost spiritually because of sin. What do you think it means to be lost because of sin? You can be lost because of sin because you're separated from God. But the good news is that Jesus came to set us free from sin and make a way for us to be with God forever. He came to set us free from worry. Jesus is freedom. So God created us to live in a perfect relationship with him, but something broke that relationship. Way back, we can think about Adam and Eve, and our relationship with God was broken from the beginning. Because our sin separates us from God, each one of us can try to make things better on our own. Sometimes because of sin, we may think a toy or a special trip or special friends can fix whatever is wrong in our life. But the only person that can fix our lives or our relationship with God is Jesus, because he is freedom. And even though we know that, I know that, I know you know that, still, sometimes we try to hold on and carry it all on our own. Does that ever happen to you guys? It happens to me a lot. This reminds me of another story in the big God story. When Jesus was traveling with his disciples, he met a man who was worried about money. Let's look it up. You can find this story in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 13. Someone from the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide his inheritance for me." Does anyone know what an inheritance is? It's kind of a big word, I know. An inheritance is something, usually money or property, that is given to children by their parents or their grandparents given to your parents. So if Jesus and his disciples were walking and some man said to him, "Tell my brother to split his inheritance with me," what do you think Jesus did? I don't know. Let's find out. Jesus told the man a story about another man who was always worried about having a lot of possessions. He worried about all the stuff he owned. Sometimes it's easy for us to think that the more money we have, the happier we will be. Why do you think that is? What does money give us? Some people think money gives us happiness, joy, fun. You can have a lot of fun when you have a lot of money. Sure, money allows us to buy things. It helps us pay for our homes, our pets, our cars, our food, and lots of other things. Money can make us feel safe. But does money really make us safe? Could I hide behind a dollar bill, or I have this dime right here? Would this dime keep me safe if someone was coming to hit me? Can it save my face? No, that's silly. Who is the only one who makes us safe? You guys, it's God. You see, when we believe that money can take care of us and keep us safe, we're believing in a lie. And sadly, we can put our confidence in money instead of God. And when that happens, we're trusting that money is more important than God. I want to read further in Luke chapter 12, verse 20 and 21. But God said to him, "You fool, this very night your life is demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be?" And this is how the one who stores up his treasures for himself and is not rich towards God. So the story wasn't just for the brothers. Let's read what happens next in verse 22. Then he said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about the body, or what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body is more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They don't sow or reap. They don't have a storeroom or a barn, yet God feeds them. Are you worth much more than the birds?" Did the disciples have a lot of money to worry about? No, they didn't. They don't. Jesus told them, sell all of your possessions and follow me. So you can know that the disciples didn't really have much to follow. But Jesus didn't want his disciples to worry about these things, about where they were going to eat or where they were going to sleep, because Jesus is the freedom. Jesus gives us the freedom to have peace about all of those things. I want you to stop and think about what you worry about. You can write them down or you can think about them yourself. What worries you? And after you spend some time thinking about that, know that Jesus offers freedom from our worries. By being in a relationship with Jesus, people can be worry-free. I know that when you're young right now, money might not be the top worry, but not seeing your friends or worrying about when are you going to get to go back to school, those might be things you're worrying about. But God gave us Jesus to set us free from our worry. God takes care of what the animals and the flowers need. So that can give you peace to know if the birds and the flowers are important to him, so are you. God is both our Redeemer and our Father. He sets us free. And like a good father, he gives his children what they need. That's you and that's me. When we believe in Jesus, we receive salvation and we're freed from sin. We don't have to carry that sin anymore with us. You can choose to trust that God knows what you need. What we need most is freedom from our sin. Not more money, not more friends, not more popularity, or more of anything. None of that will make us happy. What we need most and more of is Jesus. He knows what we need. Jesus is freedom, and he sets us free. And he invites us to be part of his big God story. We read about all of these different characters, but you and me, we are part of the big God story when you believe that Jesus is freedom. As his people, we can choose his freedom instead of sin. We can choose his freedom instead of worry. And we can begin to live as people of God who worship him for his love and care. I love you guys. I hope that you were blessed from this time. Hopefully we get to see you soon.